Picture this. You are sitting at your kitchen table on a Friday night, looking at your banking app. You just got paid a few hours ago, and you feel like you should be celebrating. You work hard, you rarely skip a day, and you even skipped buying that expensive takeout earlier this week to save a few bucks. But as you look at the balance after paying rent and utilities, that familiar, heavy, sinking feeling hits your stomach. You have done everything right on paper, yet your savings account looks almost exactly the same as it did 6 months ago. It makes you stop and think, wait, am I doing this whole money thing completely wrong? It is incredibly frustrating because you are not throwing cash around on luxury vacations or designer clothes, but you still feel like you are running on a financial treadmill going nowhere. It is completely normal to feel this way, and honestly, it is not your fault that the math feels like it is working against you. In this video, we are going to break down exactly how to uncover the hidden financial leaks draining your hard-earned cash and build a simple system to finally get ahead. My name is Jack, and I spend way too much time thinking about personal finance and why it feels so hard for everyday earners. If you are someone who works hard but still feels constantly behind financially, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it helps you out. Here's the thing. The traditional financial advice we have all been fed for decades is completely broken for our generation. We are told to focus on the tiny details, like cutting out your morning coffee or buying generic brand groceries, as if saving $2 a day is going to magically buy you a house. It is a myth that keeps you hyper-focused on minor restrictions while completely ignoring the massive structural forces that actually dictate your net worth. You feel poor not because you are lazy or undisciplined, but because your money is quietly disappearing into massive, invisible gaps before you ever get a chance to save it. This is where it gets really interesting when we actually sit down and look at the real numbers. Let us compare two different people, Sarah and Alex, who both earn $60,000 a year after taxes. Sarah follows the classic old-school advice. She obsessively tracks every single coffee, stresses over every grocery bill, and manages to scrape together $200 a month in savings. After one full year of intense stress and constant restriction, Sarah has saved exactly $2,400. Now look at Alex, who ignores the coffee advice entirely but uses a framework we call the Big Three alignment. Alex looks at the three largest expenses in any household budget: housing, transportation, and subscription debt. Alex decides to live with a roommate for one more year and drives a reliable, paid-off used car instead of financing a shiny new vehicle with a $600 monthly payment. By optimizing just those two major life decisions, Alex quietly saves $1,200 every single month without ever thinking about small daily purchases. At the end of that same year, Alex has over $14,000 sitting in the bank while enjoying life. Here's what most people don't realize about how our brains handle money on a psychological level. We have a limited amount of willpower every single day, and when you force yourself to make 50 tiny financial decisions a week, you experience decision fatigue. You stress out at the grocery store, you feel guilty at the gas pump, and eventually your brain just snaps. This leads to what psychologists call revenge spending, where you suddenly blow $300 on a weekend trip because you are utterly exhausted from micromanaging pennies. The secret to breaking this cycle is a framework I like to call the automation fortress system. Instead of forcing yourself to be good with money every hour of every day, you design a setup where your money moves correctly by default, completely removing your flawed human willpower from the equation. It is about shifting your energy away from constant daily restriction and focusing entirely on a few high-impact automated habits that build wealth in the background. Step 1 of this system is what I call the automated first cut. The absolute biggest mistake you can make is waiting until the end of the month to save whatever cash happens to be left over in your checking account. Here's what most people don't realize. If money is sitting in your main account, your brain views it as available to spend, and you will unconsciously find a way to use it. To fix this, you need to set up an automatic transfer through your bank that triggers the exact same day your paycheck hits. Even if it is only $50 to start, that money needs to vanish into a separate savings account before you ever have a chance to look at it or touch it. Step 2 is the jargon-free cleanse. We are conditioned to believe that managing money requires a degree in economics or a complex understanding of the stock market, which causes total analysis paralysis. You end up keeping all your cash in a traditional checking account, earning zero interest because you are terrified of making a mistake. To execute this step, you simply open a high-yield savings account, which is just a normal, fully insured bank account that pays you a much higher interest rate to hold your money. By moving your emergency fund there, your money starts growing safely by itself without you needing to touch any confusing investments. Step 3 is the 3-day buffer rule. This rule is designed to completely eliminate impulse buying, which is the primary way our daily income gets slowly eaten away. Whenever you feel the sudden urge to buy something that is not an absolute necessity, whether it is a new pair of shoes or a cool electronic gadget online, you must force a 72-hour pause. Write the item down on a piece of paper, close the browser tab, and walk away for 3 full days. You will find that over 80% of the time, the emotional urge completely fades after 48 hours, and you realize you did not even really want the item in the first place. To see how this works in the real world, think about how an automatic pool filter operates compared to a person trying to clean a pool manually with a net. The manual cleaner has to stand out in the heat every single day, scooping out individual leaves one by one, getting exhausted and inevitably missing half of them anyway. The automatic filter just sits beneath the surface, constantly running in the background, quietly trapping dirt and debris without anyone ever needing to think about it. Your financial life needs to function exactly like that automatic filter, quietly sweeping money into the right places while you sleep. Now you might be thinking, Jack, this all sounds great, but my rent is skyrocketing and I literally do not have any extra money left over to automate in the first place. I completely hear you, and it is a totally valid point because the cost of living right now is genuinely brutal for everyday earners. But here is the reality. Automation is not about the specific dollar amount. It is entirely about building the behavioral muscle. If you can only afford to automate $5 a week right now, do exactly that. It is far better to build the automated habit with $5 today so that when your income inevitably grows in the future, your system is already perfectly set up to handle it. To wrap everything we talked about today into a simple, memorable checklist, remember the 3 core steps of the Automation Fortress system. First, set up your automated first cut so your savings are taken out the exact day you get paid. Second, perform a jargon-free cleanse by moving your stagnant cash into a safe, high-yield account where it can actually grow. Third, implement the 3-day buffer rule to stop emotional impulse spending from draining your daily accounts. If you take away just one thing from this video, let it be this. You are not failing financially because you lack discipline or because you bought a coffee on a Tuesday morning. Wealth is not built by suffering through 1,000 tiny restrictions. It is built by creating a few simple, automated systems that protect your money from your own daily willpower. Take 20 minutes this weekend to set up your automatic transfers, protect your hard-earned income, and give yourself permission to breathe. And I'm curious about something. What is the single biggest hidden expense that feels like it is holding you back right now? Let me know in the comments below.